Okay, I just want to show you a few more things here. Remember, I'm going to focus on the brush tool one more time. So here we have the tool selected, and so this is another one of those tools that we got from that I downloaded from the DeviantArt. Here, we could do tattoo patterns here. If we wanted it to look like a real image there, we want to flip it here. We can put it on the other arm there. So she has the two tattoos. We can put it up here, on her eye. If you wanted to give her a little, sci-fi look. Let's see, we'll take that flip off, and let's put it on the other eye. We want to add color. Let's give it a little color. Let's, just shoot red. Let's give it a little brighter red. Desaturate it just a little bit, so it's not as strong. And we have it here. You can say, put it across there. And let's go ahead and flip it one more time, and we can flip it back across there. Now you can say, well, what if I wanted each one of those as a brush went across, what if you wanted the color to change? And that's what's nice about using this the brush palette here. Let's undo what I did here one more time, and what we could do, we could go up here to brush, and one of the options that you have is we can go down here to color dynamics, and one of the ones that you can move around here is hue jitter. So let's move this up. Let's go to 25. And so as we stroke across, notice how the color changes. Let's undo that. And here we go. We can shoot these things up into the sky, around and such there. Okay. Let's back out of there. Now when you do this, a lot of times what I think is best is do it on their own layer. So let's go ahead and do a new layer. While here, create new layer. And when you do these effects, wherever they may be, and then you can, have these things dissolve down upon, multiply, whatever it may be, hue saturation, have them come across. We can, let's undo that. Let's go back here. Remember, you can make these brushes a lot larger. And so we can either go up here and then make the brush itself larger, right here with the diameter. So now we have a much larger brush. Let's make it as large as we can get it. And that's too large to be on the screen. Okay. Let's see. We'll just do some patterning here across the image. Let's do it a little X flip, and we'll go brush tips, and we'll turn it back, and we'll come back the other way. Now remember, it's changing the colors here simply because we have the color dynamics selected. It's selected, it's on, and the hue is changing there. We can do saturation also. We can have the saturation change as we go across. Let's go back up here if I can get the brush, and let's go to brush tip, and we'll flip it, and we'll come back the other way. Saturation would mean to how dark or how dirty the color, or how bright the color is versus how dirty the color is. Meaning, you have something like a brand new T-shirt that you got, and it's red, and that shirt is really bright red. And then if you wash it 100 times, that red desaturates. It loses its luminosity, loses the strength of the color, so it becomes lighter. So that's what saturation would refer to. So now we can do what I've showed you a few times. We can play around with the the blending effects there. That's nice how it comes across her hair there. Let's actually let's go free transform and let's see what happens if we shrink this down here. Let's lock that in. Let's bring that across her hair. That's kind of nice how that is interacting with her hair there. We can always come back in with the eraser, and erase these elements out. Now it looks like, let's go back there. Now it looks kind of like Queen Naboo from Star Wars, Let's get the move tool. We can move that around. We could always, let's go back, free transform it. We can turn it a little bit, get it to, if we think it's going to look better a certain way. So those are some options with the brush. Let's show a few more things here. Let's go ahead and delete that. So we're going to delete that in the trash. One other thing that's kind of nice when it's grayed out, remember, you can just go click on the brush again. Let's go back. Let's go ahead and make the brush diameter smaller. So we can see it's smaller here. Okay. One of the things that's kind of neat is to kind of apply a pattern to your image. And so let's go back here and let's go new layer. And so this is kind of large here. Let's make it a little smaller. You can hit your bracket. I'm going to hit my bracket and make it smaller. And we can go ahead and put a little pattern on her skin there. Let's go ahead and change this. And let's flip it on the x-axis. And we can start over here. We can put that up there as well. And go into her hair there, and then I'll just erase out the area that extends over. So let me get the eraser, and let's get the part that goes into the black. Now remember, I'm on an individual layer there, right? So I'm on my own unique layer. So that's why we have the what's painted on there. And once again, we can use the blending options, to blend down upon there. And I'm not grooving that. Let's find another brush and try that one more time. Let's see. What I can show you is let's show you how to apply texture. This is kind of an interesting thing. So here we have a texture here. Let's go to this kind of this bulbous form here, or the illusion of those squares are getting larger or coming off the form. Let's find us a brush that it will show up on. Let's protect the texture. These scatter brushes are usually what works best. Here you can see there. I'm just going to get this little star here, and we have star selected. And so we'll go here, and let's go ahead and put a little texture on her here. And once again, it's changing color because we have that selected. Let's go ahead and put it a little further out here. Let's go ahead and put a little bit on her body here. And we're just making her into a chameleon, I guess. Or we're giving her a little, more visual interest, as it may. Let's put it on here. Now right now it's on overlay, and that's one reason it's not coming in so strong. So let's put it on normal. And you can see exactly what I've kind of done here. Let's go ahead and fill this in. Now if you want to go outside the line, that's fine. Let's go outside the line here. Let's fill in the rest of her body here. And now remember, this texture is coming from the texture that I have selected, which is this one here. Let me just fill it in just a little bit more. And then what I'll do is I'll go back and erase the spots that I've gone over with. Let's give it a little bit here. And we'll go down just a little bit ways down her arm here to right here to her elbow. Do the same thing on this side. We'll go down to her elbow. And let's see. Come on, baby. We're going over the tattoo mark. Okay, let's go a little bit more out here. And a little bit more here. Let's go to overlay one more time and see how that looks. And it's real soft. Let's see if we do exclusion or difference. Let's go saturation, color. It's kind of nice and subtle. Remember those areas that you don't want in, you can always come back in and erase. Let's go to my brush tip, and let's change that on my eraser to a solid brush, and let's make it a little bit larger. I'm changing the diameter, and we can soften that edge if we wanted to. so that's not super strong. Actually, the best way to do that is get a brush that has a soft edge as it already. And let's go ahead and I'm gonna hit the bracket to make it a little bit larger. And then we can just softly, delete that on those edges there. And if we got too much in her hair, delete it there. You see anything else on the shoulder maybe? Over here. So she has a nice little patterning there. Let's just see if there's any other ones that are interesting. Hard light, it's a little too strong. You can see some areas that I left open. Color dodge. Whatever you find interesting, you can use with this. Let's go back to overlay. And so it's this kind of interesting little soft pattern that comes across there. Some other things that you can do. Let's see. We can go. Let's go back to brush shapes, and let's pick one of the ones that we have here. Let's see. And let's see, what do we want to do? We want to get at the brush, and let's go back here. So let's select a brush here. Here we have a brush that I'm selecting, and let's see kind of what. Let's go back to this brush here. If we want to do a different texture, we could select a different texture. See if anything. That looks kind of interesting. And let's go ahead and I'm going to add all this into the background here. If you wanted to, you could simply make your brush larger. And knock the area out a lot quicker. But let's just do it. This one's adequate for the most part. And I'm not worried about getting in their hair right now, just because I'll simply add effect onto it. Let's just get enough where it goes around her there a little bit. There you go. And let's get on this side a little bit. There you go. So we have kind of a texture pattern there in the background. That's kind of interesting. And it's on overlay. It's on that same layer, so that's why it's going to be softly applied to the body. Let's go ahead and change the color dynamics and turn it back to regular color. I like the hue. I always kind of tend to like the hue added to it, but you can play with these buttons and wet edges. It makes it look more painterly. Let's do another layer here. Whoops. Let's do a new layer here, and you can add some stuff onto there. Let's do a brush that you can see. Like that. Okay. And let's undo the last stroke and let's hide those areas. Whoops. New layer here. And we can add some elements here. Just see what happens here. We'll put that all across here, kind of zip it through. And let's bring the other ones back to life. And let's do a little hue on top. Or let's do a little saturation. Or a little color. Or a little luminosity. Let's do a little difference. Hard light. Let's go back to hue. What's kind of nice about hue, let's see it without it and with it. Kind of softens it, gives it that little desaturated look. So you can do a lot of nice things with these, different brush techniques. You can create a very dynamic image with that. And let me just show you one other element here. Here we have all these. Let me see if I can flatten these. Okay, let's undo that. So you can see what I just did. Here I have 3 separate layers. I'm going to go ahead and if you pop out this menu here, one of the options is the flatten the image. You can see they all go to 1 layer here, and that's great for reducing file size of the the number of bits or bytes of your file, and it allows you to apply different shrink them down, and do different filters until the entire layers at the same time. And so I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this layer, and background copy is fine. And so I have the two layers now. And let's just go up and explore some filters here. Here's liquify. That's one a lot of the students like. Let's see if I can get this up on screen now. And so you can see here, I don't like that. Let me restore. 1 second here. Get this all on the screen so you can actually see what is happening. Let's restore the whole image. Let me do the tornado, and let's make it as large as I can get it. Brush size. Let's make the brush as large. Let's just spin her here. Spin her here. You can see here you can do different twirl effects out of here. Let's see what happens here. With Photoshop, what's nice about it is we're just exploring. Let's explore the possibilities. I'll hit OK. I'm just going to see it. I'm not 100% happy with this, but I'm just going to go ahead and hit OK. Have that render it. That's one reason we like faster computers, because it renders things a lot quicker. But right now you can see it's this image, it's spun the pixels around to create this kind of liquidified effect. And this is nice. You can do this with say you have buildings or such. You can actually do a soft kind of liquefy to them to make them look swirly, or give them a more illustrative or cartoon effect. And so the liquefy tool does some nice things. It's not just a gimmick. You can do some interesting things that, when applied to your designs or to subtle parts of your design, say like in the background and such, you can come up with a pretty dynamic image. And so it's nice just to kind of experiment with the liquefy tool and see what it actually does, so that you can somehow tend to incorporate into your compositions. And so here we have it rendered here, and it's coming on top here. And let's go ahead and see. Let's overlay that and see how that looks. A little spin there. Let's do a difference. That's kind of interesting. I wasn't expecting that, and that's one of the things about Photoshop. At times you get things that you don't expect, and we could take it a little bit further. Let's warp this up a little bit, and see if we can get her face opened up there. Am I gonna get it? Her face. Let's see if I can get her face opened up there a little bit more. Well, let's do this. We don't need to do that. Let's just get it where it looks interesting on her forehead there. And then we can simply come over to the eraser tool. And right now our eraser tool is one of the preloaded brushes. Let's go there. Opacity is at 100%. Let's get a solid tool. Here the edges are solid. Here the edges would be soft. And let's actually go for a soft tool. Let's go for a soft. Let's increase the diameter quite large, so we can actually knock out that hole right there. And I think that's nice there. And so let's kind of just keep hitting that. And because it's a soft eraser, it's going to make the edges softer. And so that's what we're doing here. And so we have an image here, and you may or may not find that interesting, but it is different, and it is kind of unique. And so we can take the eraser out a little bit more to make it a little bit more consistent as it goes around. I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to back off just a little bit, and right about there's okay, I guess. Let's bring it down just a little bit more. Let's see, I'll go back one step right there. Let's kind of see, let's pull it up a little bit. And then free transform to pull it all the way down. And we'll lock that in. And that's kind of interesting. I think that's a a unique image that has visual interest, and so we've incorporated the brush, the liquify tool, and different things there. Um, let's go one more. What's nice about Photoshop is you can always if you like what's going on, you can always keep going. And so let's duplicate the background layer one more time, and let's put that on top. Okay, and let's go filter, and let's give it let's go to texture, and let's just say crackle for right now. You can see the crackle effect that is on it. Let me make that a little smaller so you can see what's going on. And so, I mean, different textures, stained glass, texturizer, you know, texturizer makes it look like, a canvas, patchwork. For some reason, I'm kind of attracted to the patchwork. We can make it smaller or larger, so we can go deeper on the relief or shallow. Let's lock it in there. Okay, and then let's see one more time. We'll see what these layer effects apply. Linear. Give it a little color dodge. Overlay. It's kind of cool. Let's see vivid light. A little strong pin light. Difference. That's exclusion. Oh, that's kind of cool. With this too, you can go back in with the eraser, and erase it back out again one more time. I kind of like that red around her face there a little bit. Let's do it a little higher from her chin. And let's get her chin in there. Let's get this little something. So there you go. You have some, you have the options, you can have it a little more, a little more dynamic, a little softer with the pastel tones. So those are options that you have when you're doing these Photoshop projects, to make these images a little bit more dynamic.